if I have any regrets about cars, it's not getting into them earlier. Like my dad passed away in 2004, and he would have loved to have been a part of this, right? And like I think about him a lot when I'm working on the car, but those would have been memories I would have liked to have had a chance to make. You always look around, you hear the exhaust, you're like, who's that? Who's that? I'm Jason Nugent. I'm 51 years old. I'm originally from Bathurst, but I live now in Fredericton, and I drive a 21 WRX. For me, it wasn't really my dad. Like, my dad was very mechanically inclined, and he owned a garage when he was younger, before he met my mom. And like, he didn't really work on cars when we were kids. We talked about cars, and like, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, so like for me, the car I wanted was, I wanted a Trans Am, you know, or like a big block Chevy or a Charger or something like that. My first car was not one of those, unfortunately. It was a Chevy Cavalier. That I drove until it rusted out, and then I started discovering Subaru through stage rally, right? I think the thing that defined me both as a photographer and as a, let's say, a motorsport enthusiast and a rally enthusiast was when I went to my first rally as media, right? I had no idea what I was doing. None whatsoever. And I remember at my 2014 Impreza, and I rolled up, this was in Rally Baie des Chaleurs in the gas bay. And it was pouring rain, pouring rain. Like, I was coming down the road, going to the service park to pick up my media vest, thinking, what the hell am I doing? Because I remember the week before I was given the route book, and I had no idea, right? I get this 100-page PDF of turn-by-turn navigation to get through the rally and to find spots to photograph, and thinking to myself, what? I'm gonna have to drive this myself in my own car. And I did. And there's the press on regardless part, right? Because what was I gonna do? Like, turn around and drive back to Fredericton? It's like, no, right? I shot the rally, I got content. It was not great content because it was my first event and I was still trying to figure out what I was doing, but I got through it, didn't break my car, didn't break my camera gear, edited some stuff, you know, felt pretty proud, pretty pleased. And, you know, 4 or 5 years later, I'm covering WRC events. So that's kind of the arc, the story arc for me. And yeah, that's definitely the moment, I think, you know? As far as the car culture goes here in Fredericton, and this is, I don't know if this is the answer that everybody says or not, but it's really about the community and the inclusiveness being part of this. Like, I think Fredericton punches way above its weight in terms of the quality of the builds, the quality of the events, like YFC Autofest, the generosity of the people who are participating here. You know, like, I've broken my car, I've called people, they've dropped what they're doing to come and help me. That's happened here. You know, I had my car up in jack stands in my driveway like a couple of years ago because I broke a cable going to my transmission, and I'm like, now what? And I picked up the phone and some guy came over half an hour later and we fixed it, you know? Like, it's just, I'm constantly, I shouldn't be surprised anymore, but I constantly am, right? It's not really about the builds. Everybody's got their own thing going on. And like, I admire anybody with a sense of purpose and a sense of like just desire to push through and to build something cool, right? And then to show it, to bring it to meets, to participate in stuff. That's what makes Fredericton great, and it's here, right? You don't have to go anywhere else, really. Like, it's here. The WRX is, I'm going to say, mostly stock because it needs to be my reliable daily driver, right? So I bought it in 2021, right in the middle of the pandemic, and originally it was going to be like my replacement car for my last Impreza, and I wasn't going to mod it. I was going to build it up and make it like safe and sturdy to take into rally stages. And then one thing leads to another, of course, and pretty soon you're putting coils on it, and you're doing wheels, and you're putting lips on it that are going to break when you hit potholes and stuff. And I've got a turbo back exhaust on it now. There's my air oil separator, skid plates the whole length of the car. What else have I done? A lot of cosmetic stuff. I would like to complete my tint, but I would like to go to Complex Union someday without getting a ticket. Colin McRae won his World Rally Championship in 1995, and I bought my first Subaru in 1998. It was a Forester, and drove that car for the better part of a decade, and then moved into an Impreza, and then another Impreza, and now I have this. And like, the thing that drew me into rally specifically as it relates to my photography was that it kind of combines all the things I really love about photography. It combines the logistical aspects of travel. You get the planning, the action, the excitement, the landscape. You're visiting small towns. I kind of try to combine all the things I love in one thing. And I don't think there's another motorsport like stage rally. There's a sense of community when you go to a rally, right? You go to the service park, people are breaking cars, and you can go and you can borrow parts from another team. You don't see that in things like Formula One or even Rally Cross, right? Where everybody's in their own little independent section of the paddock and they're not talking to one another, right? There's a barbecue at the end. People are taking stage selfies with drivers. It's fantastic. And like, I've made friends doing rally and going to rallies that I can count on, like, my whole life. I can pick up a phone and call them and be like, look, man, do you want to drive to Idaho to go see a rally? And that actually happened. Like, we drove to Idaho to go see a rally from Fredericton. We just, I picked him up in Montreal and we kept going. And it was great. We had work out there with a couple of teams. I drove back through Canada. I had some other work with Subaru Canada and a couple of Grasslands National Park projects, in Saskatchewan. It was awesome. I love it. And there's so many great metaphors in rally that are directly relatable to life, right? Like, generally the spirit of rally is press on regardless. You could come over a blind crest and you hit a rock and you break a control arm, so what? You fix your car, you keep going, because just like in life, you can't stop. You can't just pull over on the side of life and not do anything. You have to fix your shit and move on, right? And that's the essence of rally. Like, I talked about how I got into rally earlier on. It was because I saw this photo of a Group B Audi Quattro coming over a blind crest with people packed on the side of the road, and he's 4 feet off the ground. Probably Walter Roll. I'm not sure if it was Walter or Michel Mouton, I'm not sure. Both were phenomenal. Both were world champions. But, and like, those cars were only making, they weren't making like 1,000 horsepower, they're crazy. There's just bananas. Those drivers drive like there's no respawn point in life. Like, they drive like there's a respawn point, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's just, we're gonna crash, we can hit the reset button. But I don't know, nuts. Yeah. Shooting is not a spectator sport, right? Photography, you get better by doing it, right? And the 10,000 hour rule applies. It takes about 10,000 hours to master a skill, just generally. So the more you shoot, the better you're going to be. And look at a lot of work. Look at what other people are doing And don't be afraid to be inspired, right? Ask questions, shadow people. If you see somebody at a car meet doing something interesting, ask them what they're doing, you know? Like I love answering questions, right? I love talking to people about my work. I love it when people stop me and interrupt and ask me what I'm doing. Man, like, it's just, you should be learning something new every day anyway, regardless of what it is. So just go for it and yeah, do that. Don't wait, right? Don't be afraid to take chances and get your hands dirty and potentially buy something that might break on you, right? Because you can always fix it. And you can count on the culture and the community to help if you need it, right? It's worth it. And remember, you can't drift your 401k or your RRSP. Buy your dream car. If you wish to finish first you must finish.